Hey, real estate rock stars, welcome to the whole enchilada of real estate investing, the only podcast that serves up the full feast of street smart strategies to build wealth and take control of your financial future. I'm Lou Brown, and I've been in the real estate game since 1976, so I've learned how to make the whole plate worth it. Each week, I'll be dishing out creative financing hacks and proven systems that help investors build multi-million-dollar businesses. No fluff, just the good stuff straight from the source. Ready to dig in and start making deals? Let's get to it. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the whole enchilada of real estate investing with Lou Brown. And wow, we have somebody amazing that you're going to want to learn from today. John Swire from LA, California. Yeah, baby. Tell us a little bit about yourself, John.
Sure, Lou. I grew up on the East Coast in New Jersey. I have an engineering degree and I have an MBA. Love is my, or I should say, math is my love language,
Ah,
which it's a good love language in the real estate world because there are some numbers. I always tell clients it doesn't need to be heavy math, but if you're going to start investing seriously, you got to understand a little bit of math. So I've been in
that's
real estate now for 25 years, first as an investor and then as an agent. I've been very fortunate and blessed. I've helped clients buy and sell over 500 buildings worth over $1 billion. So I've seen and done a lot of different transactions. I personally bought and sold over 50 buildings from my portfolio, and I currently own over 15 buildings out here in California, mostly in the Long Beach, California area. We've got a rent control in the whole state of California, but there is no local rent control locally in Long Beach. So it's one of my preferred investing locations and it's right on the water. I've also owned the GC company in the past. We've rehabbed over 1,000 units in Long Beach. So we've done a lot of value add and a lot of reposition. And I'll tell you, Lou, in the 25 years I've been in the business, I've never seen a market like the one we're in right now. It's a crazy buying opportunity. Prices out here in SoCal are down 35% from their peak in 2021.
wow, 35% drop. That sounds like an opportunity, my friend. That's amazing.
It's crazy. Deals that you were paying 13 times gross for are going to trade for 9.5 GRMs now.
9.5
9.5, which for
gross
us is
rent
very
multiplier.
good.
Yeah, that is great stuff, man. I'm loving that. And we always look for bargains, don't we? We look to buy right, buy cheap, buy creatively. Those are the three things that I teach: cash now, cash flow, cash forever. And I love the fact that you are holding on to properties long term because that is definitely a way that you can get to that cash now, cash flow, and cash forever program. And the fact that you have sold some properties is interesting. And now you are looking for opportunities, huh?
Always looking for opportunities. The market's been really weird as interest rates back in 2021. Almost all my clients and I did refis on our properties into 2.75 to 2.95% debt. So super cheap, historically cheap debt. Then we had the Ukraine war. We obviously had COVID. We had interest rates go all the way up as high as 6.8% in my world on a 5-year fix. Rates right now around 6%, but you've got all this debt that's adjusting right now. So you've got a ton of people who own property who did these refis, and now all of a sudden they're in this position where, what am I going to do next? My interest rate's going to go from 3% to 6%. My mortgage is going to double. In a lot of cases, they have to do a cash in refi. If they don't have the financial wherewithal to do that cash in refi, now all of a sudden they got to divest themselves of the property, bring the property to market and sell it. So there's going to be a ton of opportunities for people who have fresh powder to get in there and really take advantage of that.
Fresh powder. I like that program.
Fresh
that's
powder, baby.
that's what we need. That's what we need. And of course, I say that these disruptions in the marketplace are not by happenstance, they are by design. And we always want to look for these opportunities when we have the chance to. I love the connection also with Long Beach, California. My mother came over as a war bride. She was an immigrant and she came over on the Queen Mary, which is dry docked right there. And I've
Right there.
actually, right
I know
there.
the owners of the project.
Oh, no kidding. That's amazing. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens here as the generations fade and people stop paying attention to the Queen Mary being one of the important things in the shifting of America and the shifting of what happened after World War II. So it's
100%.
it's amazing. And we are in amazing times. I will second that motion. And see, the idea is, of course, that when we see these disruptions in the marketplace, we're looking for opportunities. Now, when you are looking for an opportunity these days, what are you looking for?
Look, for me, the fundamentals really are consistent. Real estate is built on a couple consistent fundamentals. I've been teaching a class at UCLA Extension since 2006. It's basically a class on how to invest in real estate. And the thing I always tell my students is when you buy a traditional multifamily property, a 5+ unit, not a 1 to 4 unit property, but a 5+ unit that gets a traditional multifamily loan, you're always going to have cash flow. I tell them, I say, look, tattoo this on your forehead. Because I have students who come back to me years later, 5, 6, 10 years later, they go, hey, John, took your class. It was amazing. I've been saving up. I'm ready to invest. And I'm like, that's awesome. Let's go. And the first thing they go is, but I really want to make sure I have cash flow. And I'm just like, oh my God, I failed you. They said that was directive number one. Tattoo it on your forehead. You're always going to have cash flow. So
Yes.
we're always looking for cash flow, right? I tell everybody that real estate is just like an ATM machine. It's not any different than a stock or a bond. It's there to help you secure your financial future and achieve financial freedom. So if you look at it like that's our goal, how many of these little apartment buildings, if you will, do I need to stack to meet whatever it is my monthly goal is for passive income? It's 10,000 a month, 15, 20, whatever it is. So you're stacking those little blocks.
That is so true. That's so true. And you need what you need, and anything past that is just part of the game, right? That's just an extra benefit, and you can pass that on to your family. Do you have any children?
I've got a 35-year-old stepdaughter who's amazing. Yeah,
A stepdaughter, right? Yeah,
stepdaughter.
that's fantastic. That's
She
fantastic. So
came
we
with the wife.
definitely, pardon?
She came with the wife.
Yes, a package deal.
Package deal.
Package deals are so good. That definitely is a great thing. And so you've got your family there, and really, once you're stacking that deck, like you say, and determining exactly how much you're looking for, then it's just a matter of finding those cash flowing assets. And I love the idea that, hey, you tattoo it on your forehead, guys. It's so true. Cash flow is king. They call me the king of cash flow, by the way, John. That's
Right
one of the
on.
monikers that they have attached to me. And so I'm a big believer in exactly what you're saying. And all of our followers, they are also building their own portfolios of cash flowing assets. We tend to be more in the single family. I've definitely done multifamily. I've done hotels, motels, apartments, done all kinds of different things. And currently, we have the path to home ownership, where we help deserving families end up with home ownership regardless of credit or financial background. And so we actually work with folks. We purchase the property, we move them into the property, then we work with them while they're there to build up their credit, build up their down payment until they can eventually end up with home ownership. So that's part of the game: cash now, cash flow, and cash forever. Now, in your world, when you're looking at that very thing, what are the things that you do to maximize your cash flows on every property?
For me, it's really important when a client's looking at buying a deal, we're going to go through our due diligence checklist, right? We want to make sure that we check all the boxes. What we're doing is not rocket science. Buying real estate is not rocket science. I tell clients, look, it's never going to be perfect. We're going to go through, do our due diligence. I always say there's a phrase, trust and verify. My phrase is don't trust and verify. I don't trust what the seller's telling me. I want to see the utility bills. I want to send my roof out. I want to send my sewer line guy out. I want to check and see, are there any 911 issues we got to correct right away? And then are there deferred maintenance issues we want to budget for? And then I tell clients, look, let's under promise and over deliver. Our goal is to get a 5 to 6% cash on cash return. And if we happen to push 6 or 7 or 8, that's fantastic. Okay. But if we can do 5 to 6%, slow and steady wins the race. This is a generational wealth investment. A lot of clients I'm working with start investing. I started investing when I was in my late 20s, but a lot of my clients might start in their 40s, but they're probably going to live another 50 years, right? So this is slow and steady wins the race. It isn't the first building is your last building. The first building is your first building. And eventually we're probably going to sell that building in 1031 into something larger until we get to whatever our end goal is. Maybe 50 to 100 units. If we can get to 50 to 100 units, now all of a sudden you've got enough passive income coming in that makes a real difference. Okay, so those are the things, just the big picture things I like to focus my clients on. I don't want them to go down the rabbit hole. We work off of Excel spreadsheets, but a lot of clients, to be honest with you, they don't know what they're looking at. So it's my job to guide them. Focus them.
Love it. Love it. So when you say clients, what does that mean in your world?
Yeah, sure. So I make my money two ways. I make my money as an owner of assets. Okay. I have passive income coming in from my apartment buildings. The other way I make my money is by brokering deals, by representing buyers and sellers who are transacting in the multifamily apartment market. So my clients are people who are just starting out and maybe buying their first building, to other clients of mine who I've sold as many as 15 buildings over their investing career.
Loving it. Loving it. So you as a broker, you know what their goals, dreams, ambitions are, and you're able to find opportunities for them, bring it to them, have them invest, and you get paid handsomely for doing so.
Listen, I'm not going to complain. We get paid well. I tell my wife, though, I spend my life on my hands and knees. I'm in a customer service oriented business. The answer is almost never no. If we can make it a yes, we're going to make it a yes. And it's my job to be proactive, not reactive. I try and get ahead of all my clients' problems before they even knew they had a problem. So it's all solved. They don't even know what's going on in the background.
That's a beautiful thing. Absolutely true. And that's the mark of a true professional, somebody who is representing their folks and identifying issues that they might have. I say prevent the problem before it occurs, right? And if you think ahead and plan ahead, you're a genius. And if you don't, you're just an intellectual.
There you go. There you go.
So that's beautiful that you provide that service. Now, when you're looking for opportunities, are you looking for value add opportunities? Are you looking for things that have to go through a massive renovation? Or are you looking for things that are just close to market, but maybe they're under rented and you have opportunities there?
Look, we look at everything first of all, but I will say this. In terms of value add, the juice has to be worth the squeeze. So from 2015 to 2020, there was a huge value add component going on in the Long Beach marketplace that we were able to take advantage of. We literally rehabbed close to 1,000 units during that period. So the value add was there and it made sense. The value add is no longer there right now. Okay. And a lot of the deals that are transacting, most of the units are close to at market rent, and there isn't a lot of heavy lifting that needs to be done, if you will, but that's okay. Because what I try and tell clients is, look, at the end of the day, we're trying to get that 5 to 6% cash on cash return, earn appreciation, and climb the property ladder. If we can do it with a value add component, great, but we don't need to. Okay. If I can avoid all the brain damage of a value add process, whatever that looks like, rehabbing units, updating electrical, new roofs, whatever it is, I'm all in. If the seller did that on his or her dime and I don't have to do it, but the yields still meet our minimum hurdle rates, fantastic. So I would tell you right now, the majority of the buildings I've worked on and the deals I've worked on in the last 4 years don't have a lot of value add component to them. That being said, we have the team in place to do the value add. We like doing value adds. We get to control the narrative on what the product looks like when it's remodeled. But if it's there, we take advantage of it. If it's not, we don't. We move to the right deal.
Amen. That makes so much sense. And definitely, when you, like you said, the brain damage of having to deal with a value add is something that a lot of people don't realize how much effort goes into that. And they also don't, realize the risk that goes into it as well. And certainly I've seen a lot of failed projects that started down that path and people run out of money. They run out of money because they made the wrong decisions, the wrong contractor,
100%.
wrong things done at the wrong time.
We're on a deal right now. We're into we just rolled past year number 4, where we're tied
Yeah.
up with LADWP updating the electrical on a project and we can't get a transformer placed. So we have a building now that's been vacant for 4+ years. The carry cost alone on that is a couple $100,000 a year in debt service.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That is major league. I guess that qualifies. I usually ask, what was your best deal? What's your worst deal? Does this qualify as the worst one?
It's right in there. It's right in there. It's definitely
It's
doing its best to get to the top of the bucket.
yeah, that's so challenging. And what do you see as the upshot of that? What do you think is going to happen now?
Right now, we're just trying to get everything checked off so that we can start renting the units and then stop the bleeding. But I think when you look at the deal from cradle to grave, it's very difficult to envision where it's going to turn out to be anything other than, I don't want to say an unmitigated disaster, but just a mess. Especially because we bought it in the 2021 market where values are very inflated. And now in today's market, they're down naturally 30 to 35% in the first place. It's been difficult.
Amen. That is
Yeah.
a real challenge. What would you say your best deal is?
What's interesting, there isn't one specific deal, but there's definitely time periods where you've been an investor for longer than I have. I've seen a couple market cycles now.
I'm on my sixth, by the way.
There you go. You know this then. There's times where you remember where the market was on fire and you were just on a heater. 2015 to 2019 was like that. But the crazy part is for a lot of agents, maybe you noticed this too. 2021 for me was the busiest year I've ever had as an agent and a principal. I did 45 transactions alone, just me as an individual, which is crazy. And a lot of other agents were just as busy. So the last few years have been super slow. Ton of inertia in our marketplace. I think we're going to be busier this year because of the sheer amount of supply coming on the market of people who have to sell and are going to have to meet the market. But we need buyers.
Is it because of those adjustments that you were talking about earlier, where their
100%,
3% is increasing to 6%, and they're saying, "What happened to my cash flow?"
Listen, not only what happened to your cash flow, the lenders in a lot of cases are resizing the debt to meet the DCR, the debt coverage requirements. So what a lot of borrowers don't understand is the lender's going to come knocking and say, hey, we're looking at your annual reporting. Your loan of 1.5 million covered and worked at a 3% rate, but at a 6% rate, the building doesn't generate enough income, net operating income, to support this debt coverage. So we need you to pay the loan down from 1.5 to 1.2 million. Now the borrower is, wait a minute, I don't have 300K.
So that's what's going to cause them to come to the market and just say, "Uncle, I give up. I got to sell this thing in order to
Listen,
navigate
there's
this
a ton
debt."
of big transactions going on right now with the big REITs out here on the West Coast in LA specifically, where office space is being sold for 20 to 30 cents on the dollar, what they paid for it.
20 to 30 cents on the dollar. That's
I mean, we're
incredible.
talking some office space being sold for under $100 a square foot that it traded for 400 a square foot. You have
Yep.
two things that happened there, right? You had the interest rates go crazy, but then you had COVID and the whole work from home. So vacancy rates shot up, interest rates went crazy, and you have all this vacant space. The buildings don't remotely debt cover.
It's so true. And when corporate America, as well as the workers, discovered that they could work from home and that it actually could work, then they went, "What do I need all this office space for?" And it plummeted office values across the country. Some markets are still doing well with office space, but I've stayed away from that as an investment class for myself.
I have two. For me, look, I personally believe anything above a multifamily apartment building, there's a lot of brain damage involved. When you own a property like a retail center or you own office space, you have what are called tenant improvements, TIs. Those could easily be $50 to $100 a square foot. So on a 5,000 square foot space, you as the landlord might be required to come out of pocket between $200,000 to $400,000 to redo that space for your new tenant. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and what's the return on investment, right? How much rent can I actually charge?
So even if the ROI is good for a lot of small mom and pop investors, they just don't have the wallet, right? They don't have the deep pockets to front the cash. So I tell my clients, look, stay in your lane. We all lived in apartments growing up. At one point, the apartment lease is a lease between me and you, Lou. It's a simple transaction, right? We're not negotiating with Starbucks on the other side of the table with their whole team of legal and a 30 to 50 page lease that reads like stereo instructions.
So
Just
true.
principle, baby. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, baby. That is
Keep it
such a
simple.
great plan. And now, do you offer any additional benefits to the folks that live with you? Do you offer anything that's an additional cash flow generator in your buildings?
You mean to the tenants?
Yes.
I don't. I think I poked around on your website and it sounds like you're trying to turn. I had coined the phrase, by the way, I actually trademarked it, turning homeowners into investors. Okay.
Yeah,
I always used to say,
like that.
I hang my license at the agency, which is one of the top residential firms in the world, but we don't do a lot of commercial business. And I came to this firm because my thesis was all of our homeowners should be investing, right? If you think about it, once somebody buys a home, the next thing they start thinking about is their retirement. And if we're honest, real estate should be part of any retirement portfolio. It is the only income generating asset you can invest in. You have a few stocks that throw off some very small dividend checks, but really, real estate's the only way to generate that passive income stream. So ideally, what do we want to do? Like you're saying, let's turn these homeowners into investors. Let's show them a pathway to create financial freedom. Let's show them how they can become landlords.
Amen. Amen. That's one of the discussions that we often have. We have a twice a month meeting with the public and online and actually have those kind of discussions. Many of them are actually looking for a duplex, a fourplex, something that they could occupy one unit and rent out the others and end up with an asset at the end of the day. Smartest thing they could possibly do. And for most people, that just makes perfect sense. But a lot of people just aren't even comfortable with doing any kind of rentals at all. And they're just missing the point. You're actually paying off that debt with worth less dollars over a long period of time. That pays off big time because inflation guarantees an increase in the value of the property over time. So why not get with it, stick with it, and cause that to happen?
Look, if we're honest, most people in the United States lack basic financial literacy. Okay. This is a class I've always argued should be taught in high school and college to doctors, to lawyers, just to everybody. It's amazing how many people don't understand basic stuff. So I agree with you. They're scared of making the decisions that to you and I are no brainers. You know,
That's
I carry
right.
close to $40 million in real estate debt on my balance sheet, which to a lot of people is holy cow, that's a crazy amount of money. I caught myself there, Lou. Putting some money in the swear jar right now. But what people don't understand is on the balance sheet, that comes with income to offset all those debt payments. And that's what people don't get. They've never been schooled in it.
Yeah, and one of the things that we alert people to is, doesn't that sound like a plan? It's actually a plan not to tell people how to be financially free, not to learn about money, because they're actually the ones that are going to be paying for other people who have learned those lessons. So I always like to bring that to folks, given where I came from, which was ground zero financially, and
Right with you.
raised by a single mother, immigrant to
Yep.
this country. And hey, where do you go but up from there? And I love showing other folks that they can do it too. It's not something that's limited to a certain group of people. Everybody can do it. And I love to really just open the eyes of a lot of people. I say it's all available for all of us if you'll just reach out and take it and be willing to sacrifice, be willing to do what it takes to cause it to happen. It's amazing that it can happen.
Got to work for it, though. I will say that. Listen, I think like you do. I was raised by a single mother as well. I raised two kids. And
Wow.
she did an amazing job. And the reality of it is, I don't know if people are willing to hustle to get what they want. Because I don't know about you, but I know this from reading about you. You and I are wired the same way. I wake up every day with my butt on fire. Okay.
Amen.
I'm ready to go. What do I got to do today? What are we doing? How are we making money? I got a beautiful wife who likes shiny things. She keeps me motivated.
She likes to shop, right?
Listen, I'm busy planning our 10-year anniversary, trying to figure out where we go right now and how much that's going to cost me. How many buildings do I need to sell this month to pay for that vacation?
That sounds like fun, man. Yeah, definitely entertaining for sure. And when you've got a need for what you're doing, then it does open the door to get up in the morning, go to work, because other people aren't doing that. And there's so much opportunity out there. I say that I don't know of another industry that offers more opportunity for freedom. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I am saying that it's simple. So it's simple but not easy, but you got to absolutely apply yourself to that. And you've definitely done that, my friend. You have, wow, come from nothing, been able to build this amazing portfolio, have some great buildings there in LA, California, Long Beach area, and just really causing things to happen out there. What would you say to somebody just getting started and really not knowing which direction to take?
One, I think, look, you got to set realistic goals, but two, you got to find the right person. I like to joke I'm Jewish, so I tell people I'm the real estate rabbi. Okay. I think when
Right.
people meet somebody like me or you, they realize how much passion we have and they know that they're going to be in good hands. I'm very client centric. If my clients get what they want and they need, John's going to be taken care of. Our incentives are perfectly aligned. So surround yourself with the right person. It amazes me how many people I interact with who have surrounded themselves with people who don't know really what they're doing. And I'm like, you're getting advice from the wrong person. Get advice from the right person. That's going to put you on the right track. And then let's start setting some goals. I'm a big fan. 1, 3, 5 year goals. I want to understand as much as I can about my clients. Are you married? Kids? How old are they? One day they're going to end up in private school out here in LA. I said, that's going to cost you 20, 30 grand a year per kid. So what are the things that we need to be doing? And let's break it down into manageable chunks. I also think sometimes, and you know this, people can hear about where you and I are and say, there's no way I'm going to get from zero where I am all the way to where you are. I said, you're right, but you might over 25 years. Okay. We're not
Yeah.
trying to get this all done today.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, get with it, stick with it, and over the long period of time, you can't help but win. That is so true, my friend. And thank you so much for sharing this advice. This is amazing. I think a lot of people will really appreciate seeing your journey and what you've been able to accomplish over this period of time. And definitely, you're still with it, you're causing things to happen. How do people reach you?
My email or my website is johnswire.com.
And the book
The
is
book is called There's No Free Lunch in Real Estate.
There's no free lunch. That's the Tanstaffel. You know what Tanstaffel is? There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Exactly. It was the shortest website URL I could find, Lou, so I picked it.
Definitely, when people come to johnswire.com, then they can find that other link.
They can
Uh,
download a copy of the book there for free if they're interested.
that sounds like a plan. Thank you so much for joining us today at the whole enchilada of real estate investing. John Swire, you're amazing, and definitely keep up the great work. Folks, I'll see you again real soon on another edition of the whole enchilada of real estate investing with Lou Brown. Yeah, baby. Thanks for tuning in to the whole enchilada of real estate investing. I hope you're feeling ready to take your investing game to the next level. If you're serious about building wealth, you won't want to miss the Millionaire Jumpstart. It's a 3-day live event that's perfect for any level of investor. Whether you're just getting started or you're looking to scale, this can be one of the final steps of making real wealth happen. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now at millionairejumpstart.com and get ready to make big moves in your real estate journey. I'm Lou Brown. Until next time, keep hustling, and remember, it's not about how much you make, it's about how smart you play the game.